Stream Elements said Ye Old Nerdcast is now live. Streaming Just Chatting, Community Reacts. Hanging out on a chill Saturday night. Haunted_Wisp said hello all.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nerdcast. It is Devin, broadcasting as always, live from an undisclosed location in the center of Texas on a hot as hell Saturday evening. What's going on, everybody? How are you doing? Yo, what's up, Wisp? Welcome back to the stream. How are you doing tonight? It is hot as hell right now in my... Really, it's just my upstairs. I'm a little bit concerned. I don't know if my AC is starting to go out on me. I mean, I've had this house for a little over 3 years now, and I haven't really had to service the AC once.
Haunted_Wisp said it's hot in here too.
I put in a work order for my home warranty to come and check it out. Hopefully, all it really needs is like maybe a cleaning, and that's about it. But it's hot as fuck in this room right now. It would be nice if I could leave the door open, but I have the weenie dogs in here again with me tonight, and if I open that door, they're flying out of here to chase those cats. So doors gotta stay closed, unfortunately. So it's very warm in here right now. I'm not a fan. Whew. If I had shaved my head, I would take this hat off, but I haven't done that in a while, so I'm kind of rocking the horseshoe bald do, which is not a great look. It's definitely a lazy guy look on my part, but I gotta keep the hat on for that reason, so I'm a little bit warmer than I would like to be right now. But aside from that, I'm doing pretty good. Today was a pretty good day. Nice, chill, relaxing day. The start of a 3-day weekend at least, so I'm happy about that. These weekends tend to go by really quickly for me. This is also the last day that I have the buddies here with me, because their mom comes back tomorrow. So this is gonna be it for a little while, I guess, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed your stay here. I certainly liked having y'all here. What is this? Oh, whew. Yeah, it's been an interesting week having these dogs around for sure. The best part of it is just being around the dogs. I love these buddies. They're my favorites. But the second best part, I guess, is I had to stay home.
Becky asks, Pupper's gone home?
Yo, what's up, Vince? How you doing? Welcome back to the stream. No, they're still here, but they're going home tomorrow. So the second best part was me staying home, working from home all week, not having to drive into the office every damn day. That was actually really nice. And that's not to say that I don't like being in the office. I'm gonna have to start going back to the office once these dogs are gone. But I mean, it's such a long drive. I spent so much time in my car on the road. It's put a lot of extra wear on my car, which I'm trying desperately to keep as long as I possibly can. I kind of feel, I don't know, maybe this is just me being... No, it's not. It's not at all, actually. I feel like if your workplace requires you to commute to work and you live in a place where there's no other option for you but a car, they should pay for your car. Like, your work should pay for your car. They should lease a car out to you. You can pay for the insurance or whatever, sure, but the car itself they should lease out to you. And then if they fire you or lay you off, then you, I guess, lose the car. That would suck, but at least you're not on the hook for like a car payment and car maintenance. Like, they should cover the maintenance of the car too, because they're the ones making you drive fucking to and from work every day. This wouldn't be an issue if wages actually kept with inflation. Let me see. God damn, that fan is fucking blasted.
Street Corner Becky said, I'm watching the Lobos play Michigan, down 34-17, 2 minutes left in the fourth. Wasn't even expecting to score, so I'll take it.
Yeah, it would be, I guess, if the minimum wage kept with productivity and accounted for inflation, it would be roughly $22 an hour today. That would be the minimum wage, like $22 an hour. Which, of course, would necessitate the rise in wages above the minimum wage, too. Someone that currently makes 20% above current minimum wage would make 20% above a $22 an hour minimum wage. It would be a rising scale. So I feel like if wages kept to inflation in that manner, and corporate price gouging was kept under control, then it probably wouldn't be as big of a deal to buy a car, because cars all cost like 60 grand now, and keep up with the maintenance of all of it.
Street Corner Becky said minimum here is going up to $15 next year, I think, but cost of living isn't as bad here, I guess.
15 is outdated. I remember, so the fight for 15 actually started, I think, in 2012. That was when the first protest and strikes over increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour happened. The Fight for 15 is an American political movement advocating for the minimum wage to be raised to $15 an hour. The federal minimum wage, 2009. The movement started in 2012, yes. And in 2012, $15 an hour would have been a really good minimum wage. In 2012. In between 2012 and 2020, when COVID hit, there already was enough inflation so that in 2021, $15 an hour was like not enough. Once that post-COVID inflation hit, $15 an hour became minuscule.
Gas is $2.89 a gallon here.
It became minuscule. $15 an hour became minuscule after the COVID inflation. And it still remains incredibly minuscule. Like, it's better than $7.25, but honestly, a lot of a lot of I guess entry-level retail work have started naturally raising their starting wages from the federal minimum of $7.25 to, I've seen it as low as like $12 an hour, but there are places that are offering $15 an hour. The only reason why they're doing that is because like they have to, and I don't mean they have to in like a legal sense. They have to in the sense that like nobody is going to take those jobs anymore. That's what it meant when people in a post-COVID media landscape kept saying nobody wants to work anymore. It was nobody wants to work for super shitty wages anymore is what they really meant to say. So like even $15 an hour in 2025, that's definitely not, that's not it. The fight for 15 should be rebranded to like the fight for 20. We need $20 an hour minimum wage now. Especially as we're about to see an explosion of inflation thanks to tariffs and other insane policies that are starting to take effect. Gas is $2.89 a gallon here. It's about that much here too. Which is kind of funny. It's like a lot of those gas prices are dictated by, nowadays they're dictated by how much oil we pull out of our own reserves. All right. It is really fucking hot in here. Can you guys hear that fan? I guess you can now that the music is starting to dissipate. Yeah, it's fucking swinging crazy.
Street Corner Becky said not really.
Oh, you can? Okay, well that's good then.
Haunted_Wisp said I got hit with a $75 tariff charge to me through FedEx from an eBay buy.
Oh, Jesus.
Street Corner Becky said no, now I can.
Yeah, it's pretty loud. Like once the music dies down, I'm sure it's much more audible. But it's so fucking hot in here. Holy shit. I really hope my AC isn't break. I don't think it's breaking because it's not that, I mean, you know, heat rises, right? And it was hot as hell today, so a lot of that I think was just pushed up here. And now it's taken a while for it to dissipate now that the sun has set. But I did notice that the air was blowing out of my vent significantly cooler, or not cooler, but weaker than it usually does. So that gives me some cause for concern. All right, let's get started with my queue of things to watch and react to. What do I have in the Discord here? I want to. So Arachnid posted this video interview with BioWare. I don't know if I want to watch that right now, but I probably will. I do want to watch the other the vlog that I think Kite sent this one. I'm curious about. I wonder if he ever bought that camera. Yo, Genetic Movie Farms, welcome back to the stream. How are you doing? The restaurant industry is fighting rising wages tooth and nail, but consumers have become so dependent on not cooking for themselves that they are not really applying pressure. Restaurants are just making do with less staff, knowing customers aren't going anywhere. The natural pressure of being up against home-cooked food is gone for many restaurants. It's also like they've cut back on hours too. Like places don't stay open nearly as late as they used to. A lot of places just close down now at like 9 p.m. So a lot of people have pulled back on going to restaurants because of the expense. I don't really know. I don't know if that's had an impact. I don't know what kind of impact that has had, actually. I don't know the extent. I don't know the extent to which people have pulled back from eating out at restaurants, I guess is what I should say. I don't know to what extent people have pulled back on that. But yeah, definitely restaurants are also just like, all right, we're just gonna have lesser hours. We're just gonna have lesser hours. We're gonna hire fewer people, So there are a lot of places, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like you'll see waiters doing triple duty. Used to be that you would never have an issue. You would go into a pretty busy sit-down restaurant and not really have an issue with the waiter coming to you in a prompt manner. But more often than not, you know, it's usually one or two people that are working an entire restaurant. I couldn't think of anything this week I wanted you to review, but also wanted to give someone else a chance to have theirs looked at. Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I'll look at it all at some point. The only thing is, like, if it's like an hour long or something, then I probably will push that off a little bit, because I don't really stream that long. I don't really stream for that long. If I was doing like 8-9 hour streams and shit, then yeah, an hour long video wouldn't be a problem. But I'm only ever really streaming for about 3 hours. So reacting to a 1 hour video is probably going to end up taking the entire 3 hours. Most food service has lost their minds when it comes to price and wages. I agree. Can't complain, making sweet potatoes for tomorrow. How are you doing? I'm good. I'm just hot as hell right now. Oh, it is me, and I worked all day today, and let me tell you, I'm a tired boy, and me wanting drug. Yo, what's up, Toaster? Welcome back to the stream. I would ask how you're doing, but you just said you're tired and you want drug. An hour-long video would take up the whole stream realistically, pretty much, especially with my propensity for yapping. Brother Ali, short video, but man, is it heavy, says a lot. I think that was the first thing you posted in here. I don't know what this is. I can't remember, at least. This is like some what year was this?
Name of this song is Uncle Sam Damn. It's a show tune, but the show ain't been written for it yet. We gonna see if
Damn, this was uploaded 18 years ago? Holy shit, April 18, 2007.
I like it so far, man.
What the fuck is going on here?
Come on. Let's go. Welcome to the United Snakes, land of the thief, home of the slave. Grand Imperial Guard.
God damn, what is going on with this dude?
Let's do the real. Come on now. Smoke and mirrors, stripes and stars. Stolen for the cross in the name of God. Bloodshed, genocide, rape and fraud. Written to the pages of the law, good law. The cold continent latchkey child ran away one day and started acting.
Oh shit, hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Me have drug? What drug? Uncle Sam, goddamn great song about 2 decades ago. This dude... This guy looks like a Russian mobster. He looks like he's about to shake me down, or like a British roadie. What do they call him? Roadmen. I think a roadman, I think, is what they call him, right? A roadman, a person on the street. The term literally refers to a young man who is on road, always out and about in the neighborhood. This can range from being casual, visible community member to being involved in more illicit activities. I know some British slang. He's got a real... Wait, what? Who is this guy? I've never heard of this dude before. Better known by his stage name Brother Ali, is an American rapper, community activist, a member of the Rhyme Sayers Entertainment Hip Hop Collective. He has released 9 albums, 4 EPs, and a number of singles and collaborations. This guy's from Wisconsin. Oh, wait, what? He is albinism. Okay, that's why he looks so fucking pale. A disorder characterized by complete or partial absence of pigment in the skin, hair, and eyes. Okay. That makes a little more sense. He moved with his family to Michigan for a few years and then settled in Minneapolis, Minnesota in 1992. He's Caucasian, clearly, but he has spoken of feeling more accepted by black classmates than white ones. It's not black kids didn't make fun of me, but it was different. It wasn't done in a way to exclude me. It wasn't done in a way to make me feel like not even a human being, not even a person. He could relate to them because they were also judged by their skin color. Okay, I understand that, I guess. It's kind of interesting that he would come to that conclusion with his skin color being very, very, very white. But hey, you know what? I remember back in when I was in middle school, was it? A popular insult to sling around would be to call pale kids powder. If anybody remembers that movie, Powder, which I only vaguely remember. Something about some kid who got struck by lightning and ended up with like superpowers or something. But regardless of if you knew the movie or not, Powder was basically a stand-in for being like, you're white as hell. I'll begin rapping at age 8. Using culture. Okay, he was named Rakim, Chuck D, and KRS-One as early influences. Okay. Ali has a son named Fahim. Did this dude is he like a convert to Islam or something? He only changed his first name. He was born Jason Douglas Newman, but he changed it, I guess, to Ali. Or I guess that's his stage name. But he has a son named Fahim. He's legally blind? God damn. Okay, that's a condition of his albinism. All right. Oh, yeah. Ali converted to Islam at age 15 and followed Imam Werth Deen Muhammad. During this time, Ali was selected to a group of students on a Malaysian study tour in which they explored ways that a more liberal Islamic society could peacefully coexist with different religions. Okay, Ali credits his conversion to Islam to KRS-One, who he met during a lecture at 13 at a local Minnesotan university. When asked about his faith, Ali stated, KRS-One was actually the one who told me I should read Malcolm X. He assigned the autobiography of Malcolm X to me. I read it, and that's what led me to becoming a Muslim. Damn, this white boy got put on the fucking track. They were like, all right, man. all right, albino white kid named Jason. By the time we're done with you, you're going to be fucking Ali, convert to Islam. You're going to have a son named Fahim, and you're going to be one of the wokest rappers imaginable. And I use that term in its proper connotation. If you're sitting here talking about fucking... Let me start over from the beginning. I don't know what year this song came out in. What is this called? Uncle Sam, goddamn. That's like Jeremiah Wright.
We're gonna see if Tony Jerome and the band can maybe work it out for me. Straighten me out right quick. I like it so far, man. Yeah. Come on, let's go. Welcome to the United Snakes, land of the thief, home of the slave. Grand Imperial Guard where the dollar is sacred and proud. Let's do the real, come on now. Smoke and mirrors, stripes and stars, stolen for the cross in the name of God. Bloodshed, genocide, rape and fraud, written to the pages of the law, good law. The cold continent latchkey child ran away one day and started acting foul. King of where the wild things are, daddy's proud, cause the Roman Empire done passed it down. Imported and tortured the workforce and never healed the wounds or shook the curse off. Now the...
All right, as expected, YouTube started screaming at me, so I guess that's about as... Wait, what the fuck? No, I don't want to open that. That's about as much as I can watch at this point, before it completely claps my YouTube stream. Casper was another insult in that vein. Yeah, I've heard people use that one too. He's adopted as well, grew up in a black family. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Raised Muslim by his adopted family. Okay, that makes some sense then. I think Imam is a title. Yes, Imam is a title for sure. Some of us can see a reason to respect Malcolm X regardless of white. No, I understand that. It's just not very common. Like the common meta is more obviously Martin Luther King Jr. Some of the, I guess, less visibly radical leaders of that era. You don't really hear. I mean, Malcolm X is like a second. Fred Hampton, probably a third. The radicals usually are the ones that are most easily dissuaded from the discourse within, I guess, maybe the white community. Blinders, we were assigned at birth. There was something crazy happened. I don't know if I want to do my drug because I'm sleepy. I mean, if you want to go to sleep, man. By all means. Unless you have tomorrow off, in which case, stay up. Kind of reminds me of the rapper Action Bronson. He's white and Muslim, but I think he was raised Muslim by his Albanian father. I'm not really terribly familiar with Action Bronson. Don't do your drug till you can stay up to feel it. He has a show on Vice called Fuck. That's delicious. Yes, I've heard of that. I wanted to watch it. I heard good things about it. It was one of Anthony Bourdain's favorite food shows when he was notoriously hated most. I did hear a lot about that show, and I've never actually taken the time to watch it. I'll probably just drink coffee first. I got pumpkin spice cold foam, and I want to use it. I have tomorrow off. Yeah, if you have tomorrow off, then stay up. Huey P. Newton deserves more respect from history that he gets, for sure. I'll have to listen to more of this dude. He kind of has a slam poet sort of vibe to him. And I'm of two ways with slam poetry. I have a friend that does slam poetry, and he's pretty good at it. I haven't talked to him in a while, actually. He does slam poetry in Baltimore, I think. He was pretty good at it. Slam poetry can go one of either way for me. It's either really good or really cringe. And from just that short little snippet, I'm not sure where to go with Brother Ali. Though it seems like his heart may be in the right place. Is this guy even still active? No, he released an album in 2024. Okay. Okay, so I guess he is still pretty active. I had a feeling YouTube was gonna bitch at me about that. It's very even if a musician or a copyright holder in general, even if they allow their stuff to be viewed by other people, by streamers, YouTube will still clap you, and basically you just have to appeal and get the sanction of that person after the fact. So it's kind of annoying. I'm having some serious acid reflux. Oh, Jesus, I feel you on that one, man. Be careful. Be careful. Brother Ali currently does the Travelers podcast when he is not on tour. If you want to check it out, he tours a lot still. Okay, cool. Travelers podcast. Okay, this is the one that I think Kite sent this to me. He said he wanted to do a vlog like this style, and I had no idea what he was talking about. So I guess this is someone a Japanese vlogger that he's into, Samurai's Daily Life. I will say, just my experience living in Japan as a kid, very different than Japan as it is now. There are some similarities, but there are a lot of differences too. Just from the week that I was there last time, I guess it depends on where this guy's at. But coming from Texas, where I live in isolation, and again, talking about car-centric culture, it takes me like an hour to get anywhere. I'm spending so much time in my car, and especially in the summer, hot-ass days like today, the second you step out of your car, the only thing you want to do is get inside of a building. You don't want to be out under the sun for too long. So I was thinking about it from the context of like, could I do a vlog? Would a daily vlog be interesting from my standpoint? And I don't think so, because so much of it is just spent indoors. Right now, at least, it's just spent indoors. I don't do pretty much anything outside right now. And most people in Austin don't, unless they're in a pool, if they go to the pool somewhere, which I haven't in a while. But just the minimal amount of days that I was in Tokyo and Kyoto, like, I could have cut content out of fucking anything in that place. So let's see what this guy has to say. My name is Okashan, I'm a Japanese person who loves manga.
11月になってより一層寒くなりました。体調管理には気をつけていきます。今日も充実した一日を過ごしていきます。
This morning temperature is below 20 degrees. We are slowly approaching full-fledged winter. What is the temperature in the country you live in? I'm really curious about the temperature in countries around the world. Well, it's hot as hell here today. Wash your face immediately after waking up. Right. Wait, what? Cold water is the perfect way to wake up. The sleepiness was gone. I just bought some of that mayonnaise, that QP mayonnaise. I'm really thirsty after I wake up. Moisturize your dry body with water. Okay. Check on lettuce growing on the balcony. It's one of the things I look forward to every morning. Okay, so this guy is like... Looks about to burst out of the flower pot. It may not be long before we eat it. This guy's times are all sorts of fucking weird. Hold on a second. He doesn't, like, according to, obviously this is like edited for max internet content, but according to this guy, there is like no drowsiness to his waking up in the morning. Like, he wakes up at 8:30 and within 10 minutes he's already done like, 20, like there's no like it takes me a while. I sit down for a bit. I do some stretches, I kind of doze off a little bit. No, like I wake up and I'm immediately fucking on the beat. I'm doing this. Like, or maybe I'm the only one that's not a morning person and is off to like a slow start. Well, that Stunt Torpedo short has almost 500 views. Nice. QP is so good. The way that so I bought it because the only time I've ever had it was when I was in Japan. It was part of an appetizer before our amu rice. And what they did was they peeled a tomato. I guess you kind of lightly stew it, and then that makes the skin loose, and you can take the peel. You can just peel the skin off of the tomato. So they peeled a tomato, and then they just put the Kewpie mayonnaise on top of it, and that was it. Very super simple, but it was delicious. It was a delicious combo, And I've been thinking about that ever since. So I'm going to try my hand at peeling a peeling a tomato, and then using that mayonnaise on top of it. Not trying to sound mean, but why do you still live in Texas? Isn't there anywhere else that would be a better place to live and work? You are in tech, not a blue-collar food worker or something. I mean, I'm still here because my family is here, and I want to stay close to my family. Like, my parents just retired, and I'm the only one nearby that can, like, help them with physical stuff. They both have, like, back and knee issues. So whenever they need something heavy lifted or brought upstairs or taken from upstairs to downstairs, they call on me. And I like that. I don't mind that. I want to help out if I can. My sister is up 3 hours north of us, and my brother is 6 hours north of us. So they're not entirely out of range, but it's just easier for me to be here. Plus, I also like being close to my brother and sister. So whenever Thanksgiving happens or Christmas happens, my brother drives 6 hours to my parents' house. My sister drives 3 hours to my parents' house. I drive 40 minutes to my parents' house. And we all have family Thanksgiving and Christmas. So that's pretty much the long and short of it. Like, there is nothing about the state that keeps me here. Nothing about the state itself. Like, I'm very open about how much of a garbage state Texas actually is. But were it not for family, I probably would have moved away a while ago. And some friends. Like, the friend thing has become more important the older I get in life, because making new friends is difficult when you get older. So when I was younger, I probably would have been way more open to moving someplace else if my family hadn't been in Texas. Who knows where I would have gone. At the time, I wanted to go to Seattle. And my friend Adrian moved there. She's still there. At some point, that kind of got out of my head, and I was like, I don't want to go to Seattle. But it probably would be on the West Coast somewhere. Kewpie is just mayonnaise made with yolks only, no whites. That's why it's so rich. That makes sense. I want to make breakfast. I want to pray. Wait, what? What wording? I want to praise myself for buying breakfast ingredients yesterday. Oh, okay, I see what he's saying. Organization, buddy. He's like me. Wait, Apple makes a fridge? Or is that just an Apple magnet? No, the fridge is Aqua. That doesn't look like a magnet, though. That doesn't look like... I wonder if it's like a stencil or something, or maybe just like a really thin magnet. But I was like... that threw me for a loop for a bit. I thought he had an Apple fridge. Okay. Let's eat lettuce for my health. This lettuce is fresh and the sound of eggs cutting is so pleasant. I was under the impression that iceberg lettuce has like no nutritional value. Am I incorrect on that? I thought iceberg lettuce had like no nutritional value. I'm back and wait, what? wait, what? What are we what are we whatting? Is iceberg lettuce just water? That's pretty much what I've heard, is that iceberg lettuce is mostly just water. And like there are other grains that you can eat that has more nutritional value. Spinach or arugula, or what was I guess maybe romaine. I don't know about romaine though, but Iceberg lettuce does have some nutritional value. While it is not as nutrient dense as other leafy greens like spinach or kale, it still provides, it provides some, but out of all the leafy greens, I think it's like the least. It also contains small amounts of vitamin C, calcium, and magnesium. However, it is important to note that iceberg lettuce is mostly water, over 95%. Therefore, its nutritional content is relatively low per calorie. Yeah, iceberg lettuce is like nothing. Fuck, I should have gotten spinach today. I want spinach so much. I love spinach. I just had some spinach. I had spinach tonight for dinner. Spinach is great. And it's a really, like, sometimes I have it with, if I make my breakfast like this, what I do is I take, if I have spinach, I try to get spinach for my breakfast, and I just dump a bunch into a skillet until it all wilts down. And then you eat that with my, sometimes I'll cook it into my scrambled eggs. Sometimes I just keep it on the side, put a little pico de gallo on it, because I am in Texas, so... if none of you out there know what pico de gallo is, I'll let you in on that little secret. But I put a little bit of pico on my spinach, a little bit, and just eat that with eggs, and usually either some bacon or ham, like this guy did. I want an orange where the inside is spinach. That'd be a good sci-fi fruit. That sounds fucking disgusting. Small amount of carbs and fiber with some potassium. Yes, any red lettuce or romaine would have higher vitamin levels. I eat the spinach raw. I eat it raw too. I'll mix that in with my salad. If I'll have like, usually what I like to do is if I make a summer salad, I'll put arugula and baby spinach in it, with some fried corn, and some cherry tomatoes. And I think I put Parmesan cheese in there too. Shredded Parmesan. I couldn't imagine not knowing what pico is. I mean, I used to work with a dude from New York who had no idea what a breakfast taco was. And to those of us here in Texas, that's like criminal. To not know what a breakfast taco is. And I guess in California it's breakfast burritos. Like, we don't really do breakfast burritos here, but we don't really do breakfast burritos here. And I don't think they really do breakfast tacos in Cali, but maybe they do. But that's essentially the same thing. You say breakfast taco to someone from California, they understand what you're talking about. I want some spinach with garlic. You know what you should? Hold on a second. Toaster. What, if you don't mind, what city do you live in again? Yeah, Tex-Mex is king. Breakfast burritos are big in New Mexico as well. Yeah, they are in New Mexico. Which is weird. They're right next to Texas. They can just get a taco. Oh, what's up, little baby?
今日の朝食完成しました。今日も健康的な朝食です。いただきます。
Not gonna lie, that kind of looks gross.
まずは綺麗な黄身を
Like, I'm not liking this look right here. I'm not liking this look right here. This is a little too. And this seems flavorless. This seems entirely flavor. Why even put the lettuce on there?
割っていきます。おお、すっげえ。うまっ。白身がすっごくプルプルで黄身もまろやかです。塩コショウの味付けも完璧です。
Damn, he just put the whole fucking ham slab in there. Rue, what's up? You keep stepping on my foot, lady. Are you okay?
今日はごまドレッシングをかけて食べます。
You okay, little lady? Oh wait, what's he putting on there? I missed out on that.
今日はごまドレッシ
Sesame
ングを
dressing.
かけて食べます。
Okay, so he turns it into like a really sparse salad.
シャキシャキ。
He's faking enjoying that? I don't think so. That is definitely inferior to like a traditional Japanese breakfast though, I'll tell you that much. A traditional Japanese breakfast is a pretty... It's an ordeal, I guess. It would be an ordeal to put together. That's definitely something you do for speed's sake. Wait, what? Hold on a second. How long did it take him to eat that? There was like virtually nothing on that fucking thing. Okay, he says itadakimasu at 8:48. Starts eating at 8:48. So takes him 10 minutes there. 20 minutes. So it takes him over 20 minutes to eat that? Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm in the wrong here because like I have been told that I eat super quickly. Maybe this is just the speed at which you're supposed to enjoy a very sparse meal. But I feel like I would have been done with that in like 5 minutes. Today is Monday, so it's the release date for Weekly Shonen Jump. I come to the convenience store every Monday. You see, the thing is, I always went to Family Mart. And when you walk into Family Mart, it always plays that jingle for you. And I love that jingle. I miss the Family Mart jingle. I hear it in my dreams. I yelled. There are 2 Japanese-style convenience stores here in Austin. One called Asahi, and the other one I forget the name of. It's downtown. I haven't been to that one yet, but I have been to Asahi. I yelled at them on TikTok. It was facetious yelling, but I yelled at them on TikTok for not playing the Family Mart jingle whenever somebody enters their store. And they were like, they responded to me facetiously again that they couldn't afford it. And I was like, I gotta find a way to get them the Family Mart jingle audio. They have a door sensor similar to mine that plays a chime when you open the door. I'm sure there's a way you could upload that in there so that it plays that jingle. I've got to find a way to get the Family Mart jingle in the Austin Konbini.
ジャンプ買ってきました。先週どの漫画もめっちゃ
Last
面
week,
白い
all
終わ
the
り
manga
方
I
して
had
たん
is
で
ending, so I
続き
want
が
to
めっ
read the
ちゃ気
sequel
に
as
なり
soon
ま
as
す。
possible. I love the moment when you remove the string. Start reading comics. I'm excited to see how things will turn out this time. Didn't he say this was Monday? He said this was a Monday, right? Does he not have a job? He doesn't go to work. He's like, all right, it's a fresh Monday morning. Time to read some comics. When I was in Japan, breakfast was always just toast and Nutella and hot chocolate. No idea why. Oh, that's interesting. Well, like I said, traditional Japanese breakfast, which is like steamed rice, miso soup, some pickles, pickled vegetables like pickled radish, usually some kind of a seafood like a grilled mackerel. What else is sometimes? Oh, geez, sometimes natto. Hopefully, you don't get the natto. But actually, let me make sure. Let me make sure I got all those ingredients right. Traditional Japanese breakfast. Breki. In Brooklyn? Why in Brooklyn?
We serve a Japanese breakfast called Uchiyu Sansai. Usually we have options of roasted fish. It comes with 7-grain rice, miso soup, and 3 sides. I like serving this kind of meal because it's very simple, but it requires a lot of detail.
Poached egg. A rice topped with bento flakes, miso soup. Like the miso soup and mackerel are enough for me. Vegetables, pickles, and a baked omelet. So yeah, the tamago.
Everybody's really awesome here, so everybody gets along.
Let me stop on that spread there. That is generally what you get from a traditional Japanese breakfast, which I have to say, I mean, that's a lot of effort. That's a lot of effort. You gotta bake the egg, you gotta roast the fish, you're baking miso, you're baking rice, you're poaching this egg. There's a lot of, you're getting the pickles together. There's a lot of effort. It's not nearly as simple as just throwing a couple of slabs of ham in a skillet, the way that other guy did, but much more nutritional value for sure, and also just infinitely better tasting. Monday, maybe he works nights or makes enough from YouTube. Fair point. Maybe he works nights. We'll have to see the rest of his vlog. I have had natto. Do not care for it. No, natto is disgusting. But it is a superfood. It has a lot of nutritional value if you don't puke it up right away. Gives Japanese folks in Brooklyn a taste of home, I suppose. Same with durian. I get it, but it's not for me. Where is the hash browns? You're in a real hash brown mood lately, Wisp. I hate to inform you, but hash browns are not a part of a traditional Japanese breakfast.
Sakamoto days, この展開激アツやな。
Sakamoto Days. I need to watch that. I think that's on. I need to start watching more anime. I think I used to watch a lot. Then I stopped, like basically cold turkey, and now I'm kind of like I kind of miss what the fuck is happening here. Wait, he's making more eggs and iceberg lettuce?
いただきます。
Wait, what's going on? Is this a different guy? Wait, what am I missing out? Did I miss something? Okay, from 9:37 to 9:50 he's reading. Meanwhile, the photographer has... Okay, so this is... Geez, the photographer. Damn, he cooked the hell out of those eggs. Those things must taste like rubber. I guess maybe he re-moisturizes those eggs with the ketchup. Frog is also very satisfied with a delicious breakfast.
青の箱マジで面白いな。
It's a manga that I highly recommend. Ao no Hako? Manga is my purpose in life. I can't imagine life without manga. I want everyone to read as many comics as possible. I'm sure you'll be very impressed. Okay, this guy is just fucking super into it. I'm going out now at 10:35. It's cold today, so let's wear a long sleeve shirt. When you're unemployed, you learn how to make crazy shit. These guys aren't eating like unemployed people. These guys are eating like college kids that don't have enough time or money. And maybe that's what it is. I mean, even though he seems to have plenty of time, but maybe not so much money, even though his fridge was overpiling with food stacked on top of itself. This definitely has kind of like college cooking vibes. More ketchup than eggs. Kewpie isn't exactly cheap. In America, it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's cheaper there. I don't know. My favorite shirt that I bought. Wait, hold on a second. This is my favorite shirt that I bought about 2 years ago. I like this dark green color. It looks like a work shirt. Like he's about to go get under a car. Few Nike Air Force Ones. So today, for a change of pace, I'm going to a nearby cafe to edit some videos. I'll do my best to edit with the help of coffee. Today I will walk to the cafe instead of using the car. Walking is good for your health. Man, imagine having that option. As a park I go to, running past through this park, it's a shortcut. Starbucks. Traditional Japanese coffee of Starbucks. It's a coffee chain in the United States and the world's largest coffee shop chain. I think everybody's familiar with what Starbucks is. Today is a weekday, so there aren't many customers. Calming background music is playing inside the store. I have been meaning to watch 86 or 86. Apparently, it is one of the best mecha anime going, but I have to find it posted somewhere. 86? I haven't heard of that one, but I am a fan of mecha.
ドリップコーヒーとマロンパウンドケーキ注文してきました。
I wonder if this is on Crunchyroll. $2,000 stores in Japan? That sounds accurate, honestly. That sounds accurate. Starbucks food is underrated. I think I had a sandwich of theirs once, like years ago, and it wasn't bad. Alright, so at 11:35, he's editing videos at a Starbucks. Editing at a cafe feels fresh and really fun. Thanks to this location and coffee, I was able to finish editing faster than usual. That's a great loss. No, this dude just eats super slow. Wait, he's buying lunch? Hold on a second. Well, I guess he just ate a cake, right? Okay, never mind. All he ate was a cake with some coffee, so, okay, fair enough. He ate it super slow, so I guess I could see why he would be hungry. Sashimi, it might be possible to eat fish for lunch. The Chinese bento looks delicious too. Japanese bento boxes are also hard to throw away. I'm really worried about all the delicious looking lunch boxes. That is a thing, like, you have to separate your trash in Japan. So you can't always just throw everything into like one universal garbage bin. When I was at my Airbnb, there were very explicit instructions on how to separate your trash and putting them into the right thing. And if you don't put in the right thing, then, you know, they will fine you for it. I had to learn real quickly where the proper bins were to make sure that I wasn't, violating anything. And I guess when you're out in public, maybe it's a little different. I mean, first of all, it was hard to find a trash can anywhere in general. It seemed like I found the most luck finding trash cans next to vending machines in subways at subway stations. So as soon as I found a trash can in the public, I just threw all my shit in there, which seemed like it was okay to do, but I don't know. But separating garbage is a thing. Oh, I see. He's just aspirationally unemployed. $260 for that. Sign me up. Again, for Americans, living in Japan off the US dollar is like being a king. Like, you could get a lot for your money there. But if you're living in Japan and making Japanese wages, you're not making a lot of money. So the price scale commensurate to what your Japanese wages are is pretty... It's not as bad as it is in America, but it's pretty close to what the US dollar can get you in America. So yeah, when I went to Japan, I lived like a king. But I also don't know just exactly how weak the dollar is now after 6-7 months of the Trump administration doing everything in its power to completely destroy the value of the US dollar globally. He got no riz. He ain't getting none. I mean, I don't think anybody in Japan is getting any. That's a part of the broader societal problem of its rapidly aging population. Katsudon, I want to eat it quickly. Damn, I'm gonna have lunch at a nearby park. If I get bored if I only eat at home. Eating outside feels so fresh. I feel like this guy just needs to probably... Today I bought chicken cutlet bento. It looks really delicious.
いただきます。カツ大きいな。うまっ。カツがすっごく肉厚です。醤油だれが染み込んでてめっちゃ美味しいです。
Meat and eggs are a perfect match. The photographer's pizza is margaritas, the biggest I've ever seen.
Smart.
Cold tea is very delicious. Tea has a bitterness. It is easy to drink. I don't like that. I think that was soba. I don't like soba tea. No, soba is the buckwheat tea. I think that was green tea. I think it was like some kind of a ocha. Eating a meal in the park is also quaint. Delicious food becomes even more delicious when you eat it while feeling nature.
最後の一個いただきます。うまっ。この弁当も
Trump's 2028 bid will feature him jacking off on a what? And using an American flag as a what? Wisp, where the fuck did that come from? I mean, first of all, the guy's probably dead, legit right now, since nobody knows where he is, and like all attempts at proof of life have been hilariously debunked. But even if he does survive to 2028, that's a pretty radical estimation on what his campaign strategy would be. I feel like he should just eat one decent sized meal rather than 30 throughout the day. Now that depends. Like, there are nutritionists who will say like eating smaller meals throughout the day can help keep your metabolism. Now, I don't know if I would call the meals he was eating there small. That bento looked like it had a pretty decent amount of food in it, but you know, he also lives in a city where he can walk a lot. He can walk off a lot of the calories he's putting down, so it's probably not the same as eating what he's eating, but then getting in a car and driving for an hour. I'll be shocked if he makes it through his current term. Yeah, Shinryoku subway attack ruined what few public trash cans were in the subway as they were used for sarin gas attacks. Yes, I remember that. And that is why there aren't a lot of trash cans in Japan. His health doesn't seem all that good. What? Hilarious. You haven't heard? You haven't heard, Memory Farms, that Trump is probably dead right now? He's probably dead and nobody can get a straight answer as to, like, if that's true or not. Like, even, and like his Truth Social is posting like a combination of like verifiable AI posts that are trying to sound like Donald Trump, but it uses words that Trump never uses. But then also just like really random shit like this. Oh shit, what happened to it? Shut up, I'm not talking to you. What in the ever-loving fuck is this? The world will soon understand nothing can stop what is coming. Like, it's just a lot of the stuff that he and his cohort do is just like vapid trolling for the sake of trolling, really. But given that there is this like very viral "is Donald Trump still alive" thing happening right now, that there is like a very, it just makes those weird troll attempts feel awkward. It's very awkward right now. Yeah, this was yesterday. One of the many things that was posted about this yesterday. Pizza shop tracker showed a spike in activity near Pentagon, hinting at officials working late at the government building. The tracker displayed DEFCON 1, signaling that something really serious is happening, highest alert level. Now, the pizza tracker thing is a very well-known thing. People pay attention to pizza orders around Washington, D.C., whatever big events, to try to get ahead of a big event. And you could always track, like, if we're about to bomb someone, or if we're gonna engage in some other crazy, super impactful foreign policy decision, you can always get ahead of when that's about to be unrolled to the public by seeing how many pizza orders are going on around the Pentagon. So that was one of the indicators that people were discussing about this yesterday. I keep having to take Twitter off the main view because it's a psychotic app and you never know when like a giant dick and balls is just gonna show up on the timeline. Actually, you know what? Let me just go to my profile because I'm fairly positive that I haven't posted any cock and balls on my timeline. So I'm pretty sure I'm safe there. Oh shit, I don't want to do that. Oh, ranting about abundance. Ranting about executive orders. That sort of dumb shit. This was the pizza thing I just shared with you guys. I must not have retweeted a lot. I must have just been, I think I just went down the list liking them. Like, I too engaged in liking memes. This guy is like, shit. Trump isn't dead, guys. Or is he? That was a solid one. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, responding to this clear Trump AI tweet. 6 people were killed and 20 people were shot in Chicago last weekend. And J.B. Pritzker, the weak and pathetic governor of Illinois, just said he doesn't need help in preventing crime. He is crazy. He better straighten it out fast. We're coming. And then JB Pritzker responds, "Why don't you send everyone proof of life first?" So, you know, the governor of Illinois is getting in on this as well. There's a whole lot of hate for Arch Manning right now, which is fucking hilarious. I missed the game. I wish I had watched it, but apparently Arch Manning really shit the bed. So that's been giving me some chuckles. MAGA influencers are trying to cover up Trump's decline. This photo is not from the day. So there was also like, there's been this weird thing happening where people have been posting, "Hey, this is Trump going to the golf course today," and they posted a video, but then like the video would be debunked as being from like months ago, and then we end up at the same spot where it's like, okay, so this isn't a video of Trump from today, it's a video of Trump from like 2 months ago, so where's Trump today? And people end up with like no answer still. Switching between Twitter, the White House website, the Pentagon Pizza Index. Fuck, he's alive. Real Donald Trump. "I'm alive, y'all. I needed some time to relax and bounce on dick. I'll go back to being president when I feel like it." Ooh. It's a weird time right now, is all I can say. It's a weird time. It all started with this. People were noticing it before, but for whatever reason, it didn't really get visible media notice until this. Donald Trump reportedly has not been seen in days, with no public appearances scheduled this weekend. The last time Trump was in public and spoke was on Tuesday. It was Tuesday, which is obviously very out of character for him. But even today, like, the only thing that we had supposedly seen of him was him from a very far distance, with no press being allowed near him, being rushed into like an SUV to supposedly go to a golf course. And then he didn't speak to anyone. Again, didn't speak to anyone. No questions or anything. No verification that it was even really him, if you want to get into that conspiracy theory. They just shuffled him into an SUV and sped off. So there's still a lot of questions about what's going on with Trump right now. I hope this is the picture they use when it happens. Oh my God, I forgot about this. I totally forgot about this. I can't remember, who was it? I think it was the NCAA college basketball champions after March Madness. I think the college basketball champions came to the White House, and this was the spread that he had before them. Big Macs, Quarter Pounders. I don't know what the fuck this is. These look like salads maybe from Wendy's. The White House via their official website. Stay tuned, we'll be live again shortly. This page is a standard landing page when no events are scheduled. But that's the thing, is like people are wondering, hey, why are there no events scheduled over the weekend from a guy who we haven't heard from since Tuesday? Anyways, so that's catching you up with that. That's what that's all about. Memory Farms. Oh God, Mr. Hillbilly Elegy Vance is president? Seeming pretty likely. JD Cuckface, I mean Vance. Here, the thing is, if and when Trump dies, the entire MAGA movement, the entire fascist movement falls into shambles. There's gonna be like a battle for succession, which obviously it seems like JD Vance is best positioned to just slot in there, but he's not incredibly well liked himself. he doesn't have the charm and charisma of a Trump, for whatever that's worth. Like the charm and charisma that Trump has towards his base. Vance doesn't have that. There's gonna be a power struggle on the right, I feel, and there's going to be a lot less efficacy for Vance to do the kinds of things that Trump, for whatever reason, gets away with. So it's going to be a thing. It's going to be like a House of the Dragon when Viserys passes away sort of situation. Not to equate Trump to Viserys, because Viserys was a good person and Trump decidedly isn't. I'm familiar with the pizza tracking. Been a solid predictor for a while. Lol, there's a reason I never gone on Twitter, or Twatter as I like to call it. Who is Arch Manning? He is the son of the lesser Manning. Not Eli or Peyton Manning, but I can't even remember what that other guy's fucking name is. Like Nate Manning or something like that. Who is largely being hailed as like the next quarterback messiah to come out of college and be like a #1 overall pick. He was 17 of 30 for 170 yards, 1 TD, 1 INT, and ran for 38 yards on 10 carries. 14-7 was the final. Could have been worse. From what I've seen from clips and also reading Burnt Orange's what is it called? The Burnt Orange Report? No, Burnt Orange Report is it's the political rag. Burnt Orange Nation. Reading their write-up made it sound like it wasn't just. It's not that his stats were bad. They were just middling, but he was making terrible decisions. He was making terrible throws. There was one throw that was like a low light reel for him where he literally looked like that meme guy. I think actually that was a part of my that was on my Twitter feed. That famous video of I can't even remember what movie it was, but it has that guy who's supposed to be a quarterback, and he throws the ball and he kind of like snaps his. I can't even see my fucking hand. He like snaps the. That's how he kind of throws it. He threw a pass that looked very similar to that. That ended up being like almost a full yard behind his receiver, who had to try to catch it in some crazy acrobatic way. It wasn't a good outing for him. I'll say that. I don't think crucifying him the way that Twitter seems to be doing right now is the way to go, but it is funny. I'm amused by it, if nothing else. I'm amused by it. Somebody just commented on one of my replies. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, he throws a weird sidearm, but it's like way behind the receiver. But like, there was no need for him to do that. If he had just stepped into it normally, Jesus, look at that. If he had just stepped into it normally, he would have been able to pin a wide open receiver. Like, nobody even in the realm of this guy. Nobody even in the realm. So apparently his performance was pockmarked by shit like that. So yeah, as a result, he's been just getting reamed. Yep, it was insulting. Athletes don't eat that shit. Stop getting my hopes up, you tease. Cooper Manning. Okay, that's what Cooper Manning. Loomer will ascend to her place to the throne. Nobody likes her either. That's the thing. Right-wingers are inherently unlikable people. It's an oddity that Trump had some level of weird charisma and charm that spoke to enough of that weird part of people's lizard brains that he was able to coalesce some kind of a coalition amongst them. It's weird that happened, but that's what happened. And absent that, all of that hatred and dislike that they have of one another is going to come to bear. Scheduling Ohio State for week 1 was a mistake. Absolutely. They should have gone with a cupcake opener. I don't know why they did that. I did not hear anything about Trump being dead on C-SPAN, and they are usually very matter of fact. Yeah, that's why you haven't heard it on C-SPAN, because it hasn't been confirmed. This is all purely speculation. C-SPAN's not going to speculate. They're going to wait until they have something official. So Twitter is for us degenerates that have no problem with rampant speculation. And this speculation, to Memory Farm's point, is the only thing that's really giving me hope right now. So I'm going to keep with it.
もういいと思います。それぐらい美味しかったです。ごちそうさまでした。弁当食べてすっごくお腹いっぱいになりました。帰り道にブックオフがあるので漫画を買いに行ってきます。
He's gonna buy some more
では
manga?
向かっていきます。
What does this guy do? Wait, hold on. What did he say? I've arrived. Book off here. Used comic books are sold at extremely low prices. As a frita, I'm really thankful for this. What's a frita? Is that Japanese slang for something? Freeder. Hold on a second. What is this? In Japan, a freeder is a person aged 18 to 34 who is unemployed, underemployed, or otherwise lacks full-time paid employment. The term excludes housewives and students. Oh, it excludes students. So he's not a student, and he is either underemployed or completely unemployed. Freeders do not start a career after high school or university, but instead earn money from low-paid jobs. The word freeder or frita is thought to be a portmanteau of the English words free, or perhaps freelance, and the German word, oh, it's English and German, and the German word Arbeiter or labor. Arubaito is a Japanese loan word from arbiter and perhaps from arbeit, work. As German, along with English, was used in Japanese universities before World War II, especially for science and medicine, arubaito became common among students to describe part-time work for university students. The term was coined in 1987 by Michishita Horishi, editor of the part-time job magazine From A, and was used to describe a free worker who worked fewer hours, earned pay hourly instead of through a monthly paycheck, and received none of the benefits of a regular full-time worker, such as holiday pay, sick pay, bonus pay, or paid leave. The meaning of the term developed negative connotations in the 1990s after a Japanese asset price bubble broke, resulting in recession, and freeders began to be seen as a burden on society. In the 1980s, the term had been seen in a positive light, signifying the freedom to explore other alternative options for employment within the economy of Japan, when the economy of Japan was prosperous with many different job opportunities. Yes, Japan in the 80s was ascendant and had a robust, booming economy. Polar opposite, 180 degrees in the 90s. So I guess I can understand why it would go from being seen as more bohemian in the 80s and more of a leech type of situation in the 90s. If they work at all, freeders often work at convenience stores, supermarkets, fast food outlets, restaurants, or other low-paying jobs. According to a survey by the Japan Institute of Labor in 2000, the average freeder works 4.9 days a week and earns 139,000 yen per month, or approximately $1,300 per month. 2/3 of freeders have never had a regular full-time job. A citation needed on that one. Many Japanese people worry about the future impact of freeders on society. What the fuck? Damn, this is a whole ass thing. This is a big ass write-up. Effects on Japanese society. Freeders lack the benefit of union membership, which would give them some legal protection against firing. While they are young, freeders commonly live with their parents and have disposable income that would otherwise go towards rent. Their spending helps the manufacturing sectors of Japanese economy. By living in the same house as their parents and often not owning cars, freeders have a much lower impact on the natural environment than high consumption members of society owning cars. Larger numbers of workers trying to start careers in their 30s may have a significant impact on the current corporate culture of Japan. It may change hiring and employment practices, particularly since demographers predict a future labor shortage due to Japan's aging population. Many male freeders have difficulties marrying because of their low income. They may thus have children later in life or not at all. This will further aggravate the low birth rate in Japan and compound social and economic problems related to the aging population, such as underfunding of the Japanese pension system. As of today, freeders pay little or no money into the pension system. The Japanese government has established a number of offices called Young Support Plaza to help young people find jobs. These offices offer basic training for job hunting, teaching young people how to write a resume and how to conduct themselves during interview. The demand for their services has been fairly low so far. Yeah, no shit. We're watching this dude just live a leisurely life. He's waking up and reading manga. He's going to the Starbucks to edit a video. He ate lunch in a park. He's walking to get some more manga at this used bookstore. Like, I don't think this guy has it in his mind to go to the Young Support Plaza anytime soon. I wonder what city this guy lives in. Manga are lined up in rows. For a manga lover like me, it's like paradise. Popular Japanese manga. I'm very proud as a Japanese person. The store allows you to browse as much as you want. I end up picking up a manga I used to read. This manga is Haikyuu, a sports manga depicting a schoolhouse. I remember that one. Seven Deadly Sins. I've seen that on Netflix, but I haven't watched it. $2.1 for 3 books. Really cheap. It's a very satisfying purchase. Now the dude's fucking playing Smash Bros. I've never won against the cameraman. They don't get my first victory. Man, this guy is just like this. I feel like this vlog is what conservatives in America think people on Medicare are like. Whenever you hear them be like, we got to get rid of all these slackers who are on Medicare and get them back to work, you know, even though that's not a thing. I get a sense that maybe somebody like Stephen Miller or whoever showed them like a vlog like this from this dude and is like, I know he's speaking Japanese and it looks like he lives in Japan, but trust me, this guy's actually in, you know, Libtard, Oregon, and he's leeching off of your mom's Medicare. We got to get him off. We got to get him off the system. This does make me want to make some onigiri, but I think I am actually out of rice. Fritter is slang for young unemployed person. So doesn't lack of functional unemployment in Japan act as a So doesn't the lack of functional employment in Japan act as the same indicator as it does here of a failing economy that no longer is functioning for most workers? Absolutely. Absolutely. And they're having the same issues. I remember when I was in that cab, I was in a cab with Lauren looking for a sushi place. They were actually taking us to Kura. And the cab driver, he was jovial and he was talking to Lauren about how he was like, you guys can move to Kyoto and live like kings here because for you everything's cheap, but for us everything's really expensive. And you know, he wasn't trying to like be rude, or he wasn't saying it like a disrespectful ranter, or he wasn't like ranting, but I got the vibe that he was very frustrated with the same kind of I guess, I don't know if wealth disparity is the way to phrase it, but just the weak wages that people in Japan have to deal with, and the rising cost of imports. Because if the dollar is strong, then the import from America or basically anywhere that trades in the US dollar, is going to be more expensive. So I got the sense that he was frustrated that. I talked with other people who were also equally as frustrated with wages in Japan and how expensive the cost of living and stuff was getting there. And there's been a million write-ups and think pieces about the stagnating Japanese economy since the 90s. So, yeah, I mean, it's the same shit that we're starting to see over here. I mean, we are screwed, and we taught them the scourge of capitalism, just like we have. So why not expect Japan's economy to fail like ours? Sounds like young people can't buy houses in either country. I don't know if we taught them capitalism, but we certainly encouraged their buy-in on it. I mean, Japan was a feudal imperial system for years and years before they ever opened up trade to the West. So it's not like they were totally foreign to the concept of of labor exploitation. Korea is much in the same situation too. South Korea, I think they're probably in a potentially worse situation than we're in, although we're catching up. I don't know, GMF, I just hide in my hovel and stay tuned to the news like a strung out cobra. UT should have done what SMU did. SMU is playing East Texas A&M. He sounds frustrated with the lack of upward mobility. Same thing here. I don't even think he wants upward. I don't think he wants upward mobility. I think he just wants to be able to make enough money to relax and not feel so fucking pressed. Like, he's a cab driver. If he enjoys doing that, then great. He should be able to drive a cab, talk to tourists and whatnot in the jovial manner that he talked to us, and then at the end of the day be able to easily make rent and pay bills and buy groceries and still have enough left over to put some money in a savings account and then take what's left and go watch some movies or buy some games or do whatever else, and not have to constantly feel like I could only do one or the other, and one of those options is a must do. So that's a terrible way to have to live. Always feeling fucking pressed and never feeling financially stable. I almost said something I most assuredly shouldn't. Thank God. Well, it's good to have a governor in your brain to keep you from saying something regrettable. I could be defeated at any time, but I will persevere, showing the patience of Japanese people. Okay, so it's just a lot of Smash so far. I really enjoy my time playing games. It's a nice break from a busy life. Wait, what busy life is he talking about? He hasn't really done anything. We'll cook rice for dinner. It takes a very long time to make rice. Does it? Hold on a second. I'm losing track of the times here. Okay, so at 1:50 he was at the store. He gets home at 2. At about 2:10, and I guess I don't know what happens between 2:10 and 2:30, but at least around 2:30 he starts playing Smash Brothers. From 2:30, 3:30, I guess 4. So from 2 to 4 he plays Smash Brothers, and then at 4 is when he starts making rice. I'll cook rice dinner takes a long time to make. I'm not sure why. Rice made by her father is sent to her regularly. I have nothing but gratitude for my parents. I don't know what that means. Rice made by her father is sent to her regularly. What's he talking about? Does he have like a secret girlfriend or something that we haven't seen? Didn't seem like there was a whole lot of water in that rice. It feels like a pain to make elaborate dishes. I mean, what else do you have going on, man? Make the elaborate dish. Today I'm going to try cooking using cooking ingredients. There are many delicious looking ingredients lined up. Spinach! Hey, he's rocking the spinach!
夕食の材料買ってきました。
After all that talk of spinach, we got some spinach representation going on here. Since the rice is not yet cooked, I bring in the laundry I was hanging out to dry. Time is valuable, so treat your free time with respect. I mean, okay. The laundry smells really good. My sweaty clothes are now clean. I mean, you're putting it right on the floor, though, but I don't know. It's been raining a lot, so it's been difficult to find the right time to do laundry. Don't miss the time to do laundry. I've been using these towels for years, so they're really hard. I want to buy new ones soon. Okay, we don't need to know why your towels are hard, buddy. I want to praise myself for folding laundry at my free time. This should make my future self happy. Well, credit to him for folding his laundry. I can't tell what that is in the box. This guy's a bit delusional. He's sending rice to his parents. It seemed to me like he was getting rice from someone's parents. This guy's boring as hell, no riz. I mean, he's an otaku. He's an otaku. He wakes up and lives for manga, spends most of his day either reading manga or buying manga, or playing Smash Brothers. Okay, so it looks like he's making breakfast. He's basically making my breakfast. He's got bacon and spinach that he's sautéing. He's reducing down, and then putting eggs with it. Oh, that's just some kind of a sauce? I mean, I would definitely eat that. I would eat the shit out of it. One, I think the pork isn't cooked the way that I would like for it to be cooked. Two, I think the eggs are probably super overcooked. So those are two strikes against it. But cooked in a different manner, I would get down on that. It's all stuff I like. Pork, eggs, spinach, garlic. I just don't like the way that pork looks. His entire day is free time. Today I'm going to eat dinner while watching Ojaru Maru. What the fuck? Wait, hold on. Ojaru Maru. I used to watch this anime every day when I was little. And even at this age, I still find it interesting. This is a timeless masterpiece. Anime. Well, shit. Anime that can be enjoyed no matter how old you are. Okay, well.
ックで使っていきます。これでライト頑張れそうです。ごちそうさまでした。
So he's taking a shower at basically 7 p.m. Today I won't take a nap before my part-time job. Okay, he has a part-time job. Okay, but he's got to get some more gaming. He's got to get some more gaming in there. Okay, this guy has a part-time job. He works late. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I was able to refresh myself for my part-time job. Fair enough. Okay, at least he has something. All right. At least he has something. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's stir-fried food with garlic, so I brush my teeth more carefully than usual. During this time, there are a few people in the streets. It's time for everyone to go to bed, lol. I wonder where he works at. I wonder where he works at. It's almost midnight. He's clocking in. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. This is just a late night working otaku, I guess. Your videos are like a your videos are like a lullaby. I constantly fall asleep under them in a good way. That's what Chris used to say to me too. He used to be like, "Devin, your streams are so relaxing. I always fall asleep." And I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you for that, Chris. I'm glad you enjoy my streams, but I don't know if that's the the compliment that you kind of think it is." All right, Kite wants to make videos like this guy. Hopefully he has more to talk about and show than buying manga and reading manga and playing Smash Brothers for 3 hours. But I think Kite's also a manga artist himself, so maybe he'll show a lot of his writing and drawing process. If he gets that camera I linked him to. Yes, Claudia Scheinbaum. I've had this video on repeat, just playing in the background.
Renacieron. Continuamos el tren del sur de Ixtepec a Ciudad Hidalgo, Chiapas.
This is my criteria, by the way, for 2024 Democratic nominee for president. Basically, I just want an American Claudia Scheinbaum. If you want to know what that means, then just look up Claudia Scheinbaum and everything she's done so far and what she stands for. And understand that all I want is an American Claudia Scheinbaum. The end. The end. I got some THC jungle juice. Gonna break a 3-year no smoking streak to smoke it. 3 years is a pretty solid streak, man. Are you sure you want to break that? Chris the Bipolar Jedi? Yeah, him. Yeah. What else do I feel like I had this one. I don't know what this is. This is about the PS3, I believe. The most over-engineered console. I've been wanting to watch this for a little while, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock this one out now too. I always thought the Sega Saturn was the most over-engineered console, but I'm willing to accept new challengers to that crown.
In 2006, you're Sony in 2006. You just did the impossible. You sold 155 million PlayStation 2s. But here's the thing about being on top of the world. There's only one direction left to go. They looked at their perfect record and said, you know what? Let's build a $600 supercomputer and see what happens. This is the story of how the most successful gaming company in the world went from conquering everything to almost losing it all. How Sony's greatest triumph became their greatest nightmare. And how sometimes you have to lose everything to remember who you really are.
For the PlayStation 2, the best entertainment system to hit the world.
Sony Pictures is making Spider-Man movies that are breaking box office records. Sony Music has everyone from Beyonce to John Mayer on their label. Walk into any electronics store and half the TVs, cameras, and stereos have that iconic Sony logo. But the crown jewel, PlayStation. Microsoft's original Xbox, 24 million units sold.
That's an old school Rock, man. That is the Rock.
Microsoft.
That's the Rock when he looks his most human. Before all of like the HGH and fucking and whatever other sorts of fucking gear he's injecting into himself to get as beefy as he has gotten. This is back when he looked like a relatively normal human. I kind of missed this Rock. This was a good Rock.
Original Xbox, 24 million units sold. Nintendo's GameCube, 22 million. The PS2, 155 million and counting. Ken Kutaragi, the father of PlayStation, is being called a visionary genius. Developers are lining up to make games exclusively for PlayStation because that's where the money is. They had achieved total market dominance while remaining profitable and innovative. There was only one question being asked: how do we do it again? Little did they know that question was about to destroy everything. Sony's executives weren't celebrating. They were looking at the horizon, and what they saw terrified them. Their first enemy was their own success. The PS2 had set an impossible standard. 155 million units wasn't just a number. It was a mountain that seemed impossible to climb twice.
And this is the folly of market capitalism. The line must always go up. It doesn't matter how high you got that line to go up yesterday. Today, it must go up higher. The line must always go up. And at some point, no matter how much success you have, your pursuit, your ruthless and reckless pursuit of making that line go up is going to end up causing you to fucking self-destruct. You will explode. Like there's no such thing as infinite growth.
Their second enemy was Microsoft's endless war chest. Microsoft had just lost billions on the original Xbox, but they weren't retreating. Steve Ballmer had literally said Microsoft
God damn,
would
that
spend
guy is
whatever it
fucking
takes
sweaty.
To win gaming.
Why was he so goddamn sweaty? Look at
Xbox,
he was
but
on
they weren't
stage
retreating.
looking like
Steve
that.
Ballmer-
I'm familiar with Steve Ballmer. I've seen the developers. I've seen that. I'm familiar with him. I think he owns the Denver Nuggets now. He was on stage looking like this. They let this man get in front of cameras looking like he's fucking on a meth bender. God damn.
Had literally said Microsoft would spend whatever it takes to win gaming. The third enemy was Toshiba's HD DVD threat. If HD DVD won and Blu-ray lost, their movie studio would be paying Toshiba for years to come. The fourth enemy was Nintendo's wildcard. Nintendo had just announced something called Revolution with a mysterious new controller. Sony's intelligence suggested it wasn't just about graphics or processing power, it was something completely different. And their fifth enemy was PC gaming's rise. Nvidia and ATI were releasing hardware that made console graphics look dated. If consoles couldn't match PC performance, why would hardcore gamers need them at all? Sony realized they weren't just defending their crown, they were fighting a five-front war for the future of entertainment itself. So they made a decision that would change everything. They would build a weapon so powerful, so advanced, that none of these threats could touch them.
Let the games begin.
Tomorrow's PlayStation 3 launch.
The new technology in PlayStation 3 helped developers usher in a new era of deep immersion.
The launch of the PS3 model sounded like a jet engine and was so damn big. Also, if you have not used THC in so long, go easy, don't overdo it. Back when he was making good movies like The Rundown and Walking Tall. Yeah, that rock. Both of those were pretty good movies. I vape, so the tolerance is there. He owns the Clippers. Okay, the Clippers. I thought it was the Nuggets, but yeah, you're right. It was after Donald Sterling's situation, right? When Donald Sterling was ousted for being a woke racist. If you remember back on that situation, that pretty much is what happened. He was outed as being a woke racist. He was like, he was saying to his I guess mistress, it's like, I don't care if you go hang out with black guys. You can party with black guys. You can do whatever you want with black guys. Just don't put it on Instagram. It's like, hey, for a 78-year-old dude, he's shockingly progressive in probably the most racist way. The Kroenke family owns all the Denver teams except the Rockies. Really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought you... Wait, hold on. That's the guy that also owns the Rams, isn't it? I thought you weren't allowed to own franchises in different states. I thought there was a law against owning... Or is that within... I don't know. I don't know what that law is. I can't remember. I thought there was a law about... He put the teams in his wife's name. Oh, okay, so loophole. Loophole. They shouldn't allow that. Or they should get a divorce or something.
Immersive, high-definition gaming.
It's this holiday season's must-have.
Connecting gaming and entertainment for PlayStation fans.
Lifelike graphics and motion sensing controls.
As you can see, we have a lot of new, exciting things in store for our collective future.
They would attack all 5 threats at the same time with 3 revolutionary technologies that would redefine what a gaming console could be. Sony called up IBM and Toshiba and proposed something that sounded like science fiction.
The Emotion
Let's
Engine?
build the most powerful processor ever created for consumer electronics. Imagine physics so realistic that every piece of debris behaved like real matter. AI so advanced that NPCs seemed actually intelligent. The Cell processor wasn't just an upgrade, it was alien technology. Ken Kutaragi stood on stage and declared that the PS3 would be so powerful that people could actually network multiple consoles together for distributed computing. And the Air Force actually did that, stringing together over 1,500 PS3s to create the 33rd fastest supercomputer in the world at the time. Sony wasn't
Didn't they also do folding at home?
War. They were going to end the HD format war before it started. Every single...
Wasn't folding at home also a thing for the PlayStation 3? I remember them making a big deal about that. Remember folding at home with PS3? Why not a similar project with PS5? I want to see... Folding at Home is a distributed computing project aimed to help scientists develop new therapeutics for a variety of diseases by the means of simulating protein dynamics. This includes the process of protein folding and the movements of proteins, and is reliant on simulations run on volunteers' personal computers. Folding at Home is currently based at the University of Pennsylvania, led by Greg Bowman, a former student of Vijay Pandey. I don't know who that dude is. Okay, yeah, I remember them making a big deal about Folding at Home. Then it just kind of silently went away. I wonder... Let me see. I wonder if anything positive ever came from all that fucking protein folding.
Single PS3 would have a Blu-ray drive built in. This was strategic genius disguised as engineering madness. Toshiba could spend billions marketing HD DVD, but they couldn't compete with Sony literally giving away Blu-ray players with every console sale. Microsoft had something Sony didn't: Xbox Live. Sony watched as Microsoft built a reoccurring revenue stream from millions of subscribers. Sony's response was bold. Sony would build PlayStation Network as a premium service that cost nothing. Messaging, friends list, online multiplayer, digital game downloads, all free. These 3 technologies would work together to create an unstoppable gaming ecosystem. The Cell processor would deliver visuals so stunning that Xbox 360 would look dated. Blu-ray would win the format war while providing massive storage for next-gen games. Free PSN would steal Xbox Live subscribers while building PlayStation loyalty. Sony wasn't just building a console, they were building a technological fortress that would keep competitors out for the next decade. What could possibly go wrong?
$599 US dollars, $659 Canadian.
The room we were in went silent.
$599 US dollars.
I need to re-architect every line of code I've ever written in order to get it to work.
And I said he put half of the development community out of business.
Sony's master plan started collapsing the moment they tried to execute it. The cell processor that was supposed to be their secret weapon became their worst nightmare. Epic Games' Tim Sweeney called it a nightmare to develop for. Valve's Gabe Newell was even more brutal. The PS3 is a total disaster on so many levels. Games that ran perfectly on Xbox 360 became stuttering, broken messes on the PS3. The cell's 9 cores didn't work like normal processors. Developers had to completely relearn how to write code, and most of them simply couldn't figure it out. Then came E3 2006. Sony walked on stage and delivered the first line that would haunt Sony for years. $599 US dollars. The original PlayStation launched at $299. The PS2 was $299. Even the premium Xbox 360 was $399. Meanwhile, Sony's factories were hemorrhaging money on every single unit. The cell processor cost around $230 to manufacture. The Blu-ray drive.
In retrospect, yes, $599 is fucking insane. Wait, what is? I don't know. Maybe my sense of pricing has been completely distorted by recent price increases, but it seems to me like that's not too far off the mark from what things are now. Like, how much was the PlayStation 5? It was $500. It was not too far off from $599. I guess it was $100 cheaper. That's not nothing, but I feel like console prices have increasingly gotten more and more expensive as well. His wife is a Walmart heir. Isn't folding at home the same thing as crypto mining crypto coins? It's kind of the same idea behind using other people's processing powers behind the scenes to do shit. Xbox Live better than PSN Networks? Yes, it was on the 360 at least. I loved the Xbox Live on the 360. I actually engaged with it quite a bit, even though I wasn't super big into online gaming back then. But I love their store. Their store was awesome. I fold at home all the time. Towel sheets, underwear, even socks sometimes. Hey, Genetic Memory Farms. You're like that Japanese kid we just watched. That $600 price tag was huge in 2006. Yes, it was. Gaming has always been expensive relative to inflation. I guess relative to inflation, maybe the $499 price tag of the PS5 isn't that big of a deal. Although I guess the PS5 Pro is $700. That's about the same thing.
Another $125. By the time you added the NVIDIA graphics chip, memory, and everything else, each PS3 cost Sony around $870 to build. Sony was losing nearly $300 on every single console sold. Xbox 360 had been on shelves for a full year, building up a library of games and working out manufacturing kinks. Nintendo launched the Wii the same month for $249, less than half the price of a PS3, and it immediately sold out everywhere. 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion. Some estimates put Sony's total PS3 losses at over 5 billion across the console's lifetime. But here's the thing about Sony. They don't know how to quit. Even as the PS3 was bleeding money, even as developers were abandoning them, even as the gaming press was writing PlayStation's obituary, Sony kept fighting. And slowly, impossibly, they started winning wars that nobody was paying attention to. In February 2008, Toshiba surrendered. HD DVD was officially dead. This victory alone would eventually generate billions in licensing revenue. The PS3's losses suddenly looked like a strategic investment. Exclusive games started flowing. Uncharted showed what the PS3 could really do. God of War 3 delivered the cinematic spectacle Sony had promised. Most importantly, Sony's first-party studios figured out the cell processor. The Last of Us, released near the end of the PS3's life, looked absolutely stunning, better than most early PS4 games. While Xbox Live subscribers complained about paying $50 a year, PlayStation users were getting the same features for nothing. PSN's user base exploded. By the end of the generation, Sony had built a legitimate competitor to Xbox Live. Most remarkably,
I was definitely a late comer to the PS3 because of how fucking expensive it was. But when I did get my PS3, I lived on PlayStation Network because they had a shit ton of games that you can get from there, of course, but they also had a bunch of demos. And it was always cool to see the demos, to see the things that they were promoting. You could rent movies and shit on there too at the time. Their PlayStation Network service on the PS3 was actually really robust and very well run and well maintained and interesting. I built out, most of my PS3 library was downloaded games, ironically, talking about, that previous video we watched about physical media. The PlayStation Network was was really the first time. I mean, I'd used Steam a little bit in the past, but PlayStation Network was the first time I really actually fully went in on, okay, I'm just gonna look on PlayStation Network and download shit. What do you got to download? This started with the demos, but like eventually I started purchasing games on it too, and it was great. It was great. It was free. I didn't do a lot of online gaming. I never did. I never have before, and I still don't. But if I wanted to, I guess the option was always available to me. Oops. So yeah, I think the PlayStation Network, even though I really liked Xbox Live, at a certain point I canceled my Xbox Live subscription because I just wasn't using it that much. After I got a used PlayStation 3 from GameStop and started downloading a bunch of demos. Also, I got the PlayStation, my very first PlayStation 3 was the version that had full backwards compatibility with PlayStation 1 CDs. So I bought it. So I hunted that version down specifically so I could still use my PlayStation 1 games in my PS3. And that was awesome. That was awesome. That definitely made the PlayStation 3 worthwhile to me because I still had a bunch of PlayStation 1 games that I didn't want to lose out on. Kind of sucks that sort of thing has just disappeared, but I loved that I loved my PlayStation 3 because of that. And to me, that was more that I never played Uncharted. I guess maybe I should at some point. I like the Tomb Raider game, so maybe I'll like Uncharted. I never played God of War 3, never played Last of Us. Like all of these titles that he's like, these are the games that turned it around for PlayStation. I never played any of them. Those things just never spoke to me, I guess, for whatever reason. But the ease of use of being able to discover other new titles on the PlayStation 3 was more than enough. To pique my interest. They had a cable-like service, PS View or something. I vaguely remember that too. They ended View in 2020 because they couldn't compete with the boom in streaming. At the time, PSN quickly made... well, that was the other thing. I also used my PlayStation Network to watch Netflix and other things. I think I downloaded Netflix and Hulu and something else on my PS3. So I would use my PS3 to watch that before I, got a Roku. At the time, the PSN quickly made the price of the console worth it when you factored in paying monthly for Xbox Live. That is what switched me over. Had both for a while and abandoned the Xbox. Yeah, same here. Same here. I mean, I used to play the Xbox 360 a lot, and then once I got my PS3, that thing just became a paperweight. I used my PS3 to stream my movie TV files from my PC before I found Plex. Was there a Plex app for the PS3? I feel like there may have been. I think there may have been. I think I used that too because I think my roommate at the time had a Plex server. But I can't remember.
PS3 fought its way back in total sales. PS3 had sold roughly 87 million units compared to Xbox 360's 84 million. Now the Wii did sell over 100 million, but this is pretty good. So what did Sony actually accomplish with the PS3? They lost billions of dollars, alienated developers, and nearly destroyed the PlayStation brand. But they also won the format war, maintained their market position, built a world-class online service, and created some of the greatest games ever made. Most importantly, they learned. Every mistake, every misstep, every billion-dollar loss taught them something crucial about what gamers actually wanted. When development on the PS4 began, Sony didn't just build a new console, they systematically fixed every single mistake they've made. Mark Cerny, the PS4's lead architect, spent 2 years just talking to game developers. What did they want? Simple tools, familiar hardware, straightforward development processes. Sony literally designed the PS4 around developer feedback instead of engineering ambition. While Microsoft's Xbox One launched focused on TV integration, sports apps, and living room entertainment, Sony's message was laser focused. No supercomputer claims, no revolutionary new media formats, no complex multi-purpose positioning. The PS4 was a gaming console that played games really well, and that was enough. When Microsoft announced Xbox One at $499, Sony already had their answer ready: $399. No more losing hundreds of dollars per console, no more betting the company on long-term strategy. The PS4 would make money immediately. The PS4 sold over 117 million units. Sony had taken every painful lesson from the PS3 era and turned them into competitive advantages. But the real victory wasn't the sales numbers. It was proving that Sony had learned from their mistakes. The PS3 cost $5 billion. The PS4 made them billions in profit. Sometimes, the most expensive lessons are the most valuable ones.
Well, it helps that the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 also sold like gangbusters, because that one mistake for the PS3 was able to be overcome. Sega didn't have that. I mean, Sega made a mistake with the Sega Saturn, but that ended up killing them, because like no amount of success that the Dreamcast had was enough to pull Sega out of the fire. And they eventually succumbed to like the wounds of the Sega Saturn, and I guess to a lesser extent the 32X and Sega CD. So if you're gonna make mistakes, make sure you have a significant amount of money in the bank before you do. I guess that's the lesson there. I'm not gonna watch that one. Oh, let's see, what time is it? Do I have time for one more? Is there anything else I may want to react to? I can just chill and hang out for a bit. Here's my... I use my PS3 to stream my movies and TVs from my PC. Oh yeah, I read that already. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wish I still had my old PS3. I wish I'd still had it. I still have my old PlayStation 1 games, but I guess the only thing I could use to play those on now is my, I have a PlayStation 2. I have one of those thin PlayStation 2s still, so I can play my PS1 games on that. The Wayward Realms Dev Q&A, early access game systems. Oh, well, shit. There's something new about this? I don't know if you guys follow Stavros Halkias as a comedian, but you should, because he's fucking hilarious. He's one of my favorites, and he's undergoing a process now where he's trying to get ripped. This is season 3 of his Stabby Gets Ripped series, and he's very open and honest about his struggles with weight and shit. But it's funny and it's interesting to watch. So I would recommend that. Oh, why are small trucks illegal in America? Because of the chicken tax. Because of the chicken tax. I've got to actually play some games on my own without prompting. I really need it for my mood state. Is this pre-alpha footage?
Hello everyone.
It looks like shit. Why does it look like shit?
Victor Villarreal, creative director of Once Lost Games, the company behind Wayward Realms, the spiritual successor to the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. For those who do not know, in mid-2024, the team launched a Kickstarter campaign with the goal of raising $500,000 to fund 1 full year of development or an early access build, with the hope of then finding a publisher. The campaign reached its goal within 12 days, and as of August 2025, the team has raised more than $800,000. In this video, I asked the team some questions about the progress they've made since the First of all, our condolences to all of you at Once Lost Games at this difficult time. Julian LeFay's passing is a loss for the Elder Scrolls community too. In your statement, you mentioned how Julian's vision for Wayward Realms is deeply embedded in the development process. Can you briefly talk about the design philosophy of Wayward Realms as envisioned by Julian?
Sure. So Julian's design philosophy, I think you can kind of boil it down to 2 things, and then like a major focus that he was wanting, which those would be scope, realism, and then the virtual game master, the VGM. Those were the 3 things he was really focused on for Wayward Realms. Obviously with scope, you know, we've talked a lot about it, and you know, the size of the world is something that's really important to us. You know, Julian always wanted it to feel real. It should feel like a real place, not like, you know, the sort of modern RPG theme park that we get, where everything's just small and condensed and just waiting for the player to walk by.
This looks like hot garbage. I think this is
the whole world waits on the player.
I think this is Daggerfall. I think this is Daggerfall they're showing, because these are Daggerfall icons. This is the Daggerfall health UI right here. I think this is just like some form of Daggerfall Unity with whatever kind of mods that they've got
really
attached.
With Wayward Realms,
you drink from your water skin. That was totally
the
Daggerfall.
World to be its own thing. The world is living, breathing. Things are happening. It's in motion, with or without the player. And if you want, you can interact with it, and you can change things around and leave your mark.
And they're playing the Daggerfall theme song right now,
with or without you doing its own thing, which also goes hand in hand with the realism sort of aspect that Julian wanted, because again, like, it shouldn't feel like it's a theme park. It shouldn't feel like it's just waiting on you. It should feel real. It's a real place. And that goes down to, like, say, like the weapon and armor designs or the creature designs. You know, we don't want crazy shoulder pads and swords with all sorts of spikes on them. They should feel real. They should feel like something functional. They should feel like something that could have existed in history. And like with creatures, we have creatures that are part of an ecosystem. They're not just, you know, magic monsters that, you know, wouldn't really exist. You know, they feel grounded. They belong there. They're part of the environment. And then finally, the other thing that Julian was really passionate about was the virtual game master, because he wanted to sort of blur that line between
they've got this fucking camping mod. Fuck these guys. I hate this mod. I don't like this mod. That mod sucks.
One of the things he said is, you know, like, and I'm paraphrasing here, so it's not word for word what he said, but like he basically said, like, the worst role play session that you could have is really the tabletop role play session you could have is really like the best video game session that you could have. And he always wondered, like, why is it so hard to blur that line? Why can't we make those video games feel more like a tabletop game where it's more reactive to the player and is really just, you know, it's catered to what you're playing, right? It's fun because it's bent around your player or your character and the things they can experience. And that's kind of what he wanted to do with the VGM. So, like, the VGM, for those who don't know, pretty much takes all this information about the player, you know, who they are, what they're playing as, what skills they have, what their preferences are. And it tries to give you quests and interactions that coincide with that makes sense with that. And it's a little different from the theme park world, where I said, you know, the theme park is just waiting on the player to do anything. This is more of the interactions that you get make sense for the character that you are, as opposed to just being generic quests that, you know, maybe your thief character doesn't want to go save the king. Why would they? Right? So in that sense, the VGM would know that, and hey, it's going to give you a quest to maybe go steal something from the king instead. And so that's really the sort of line that he wanted to break, and really blend the two types of games that we have, the tabletop and the video game. Those three things are really like, it was things that he was very passionate about that we're trying to bring to life here with Wayward Realms.
It has been more than a year since the Kickstarter campaign ended. Can you share the progress made over the last year?
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many different things that have come online. It's really hard to just like drop a list of everything that we've done. I guess one of the big things we've done since then, well, like really since December, was sort of lean more into the 80s art style. Our
80s art
we
style.
had some of it in there, but it wasn't enough, and it was kind of feeling a little too generic. So we're leaning more into that, really wanting to make it feel like, say, like an old AD&D art book, or you know, just that old 80s fantasy,
like Frank Franzetti,
and the kind of looks that you would.
Is he talking about like Frank Franzetti art? Because if he's talking about Frank Franzetti, then I'm on board. I think that's the guy's name. Frank Frazetta. Yeah. Like this kind of wicked fantasy art that you would see on like a Trapper Keeper, on a Conan the Barbarian Trapper Keeper or something. I would be on board if this is the art style that they kind of want to emulate for Wayward Realms. Hell yeah, I'm on board with that. There's a pizza place in Austin called Conan's Pizza. That's usually where my D&D group meets to play. We order pizza and then play there at one of their bigger tables. And they have this art all over the wall, all over all the walls. Like, it's a part of their theme. And it totally feels like you're walking into like an 80s nerdy pizzeria or some shit when you go in there. So I'm a fan of that if this is what they're talking about. So many things, I'm just speechless. I don't know what that means.
Finding that, so that way it's more unique. It has its own style that you don't really see very much of anymore. As far as in-game progress stuff, you know, we've built out our island. It has, you know, generated forests and foliage all throughout it. We've been doing the city, so we can now place a city. It plays really large cities. It adapts to the terrain, so it's like on a hill, you know, your houses fit along the slope. It spawns roads throughout it. Likewise, the crowds, we've gotten those up and running, so you'll have people walking around. They have really basic schedules right now. It's something that we'll keep improving and adding upon, but you know, you got your people and they're walking around, they're heading places. We've also been doing a lot with the combat. You know, we've got melee in. Our magic is actually further along than we thought we would be. We've gotten that done a lot quicker than we originally anticipated. And range combat, we just got up and running. And obviously, again, that's something else we'll keep expanding on until early access and then beyond that as well. So still a little basic right now, but those three play styles are in. You can spawn enemies throughout the island, different kinds. In the dungeons as well. The dungeons themselves, those are up and running. We've got a bit more variety in it. You can have some outdoor sections now.
I wonder, are the dungeons procedurally generated?
And I mean, it's still a work in progress, so we'll still want to add a lot more variety to them. But
guy seems to be over-promising.
You can put them out there in the map.
I mean, he's just describing basic systems.
Like weaponry and outfits for the NPCs and the player. We actually have the layers system for our player character. So that includes like an innerwear, which would be your clothing, the armor layer, and then your outerwear, which would be something like cloaks or tabards, that kind of stuff. So we've got that framework all in, and now it's really just a matter of adding that variety, adding all those different bits of armor and clothing and things that you can wear and change out and kind of get your own unique style for. So lots of stuff. It's definitely a lot more than I can list, but I think you get the general idea. And we will have a devlog coming out soon, so you guys can get a good look at the game and what we've got to offer so far.
That's great progress. So you had shared a mock-up of the character sheet where we saw attributes, major skills and minor skills. I want to know if Wayward Realms is a character skill based RPG or is the player skill the main focus? Just to give you some examples, in Morrowind as well as in Daggerfall to an extent, the player had no real role in the success of picking a lock or disarming a trap or hitting an opponent or casting a spell. Lockpicking is based on your character's lockpicking skill and not how well you, the player, can complete a minigame. Hitting an enemy with a sword has everything to do with the character attributes and weapon skill. I would love to know the approach of Wayward Realms in this regard.
The main focus is the character and your skills. It's really, harkening back to those old RPGs.
Dice
now
rolls.
What you get a lot is really action RPGs, and it's all about player skill and your ability to dodge and attack, at a certain time frame. Especially with what the Souls games have introduced to the video game space. Like, a lot of people really go for that player skill now, and we're aiming to pull it back to the character skill, and really it's determined by what skills you choose, what you improve upon, and the situations that you put yourself in. And it's just all down to character skill. Even say like damage isn't determined by the weapon that you have, it's determined by your weapon skill. So, and then your weapon skill determines your base damage, and then the weapon can do a bonus or a minus depending on the weapon type. And then we also have resistances and weaknesses that will also play a role in it, but your skill is the primary determinant of that damage. And that's really the sort of philosophy that we take into all of it. We really want it to be about the character, not the player.
That sounds
awesome.
like
I expected
Morrowind
to be a character skill based RPG, but I needed your confirmation, so that's great. Alright, so when building a character, can a player select a set of skills that...
that really sounds like Morrowind. It's like when I create my first character in that, and I've got a sword, and I'm looking at a crab, and I'm swinging it, and every time I swing, I miss. And it's like, why the fuck am I missing this crab? I'm looking right at it, my sword's going right on top of it, but I keep missing. I'm missing. It's because it's a dice roll based on your character attributes, rather than it being like an action game where it's like you need to position your sword on top of this crab and then swing and then hit the button to swing. So in that respects, I'm very curious about how this game is actually going to feel when you play it, because it could feel bad. That could be a bad feel. It's kind of how I felt playing Fallout. Playing Fallout 4, where it felt like I was playing a first-person shooter. I was running with a gun, and then I shot a guy in the head with a shotgun, and it was like, and I was like, oh yeah, I shot him in the head with a shotgun. But then like the guy just kind of shrugs it off, and it like, oh, I did minimal damage. And I'm like, how the fuck did I not kill him? I just ran up to him and shot him in the head with a shotgun. Like, now I got to shoot him like 6 more times with a shotgun just to kill him? Like, what's going on here? This doesn't feel right. Like, I feel like if I run up to you with a shotgun and shoot you in the head with it, you should be done for. Like, that should be lights out. Why is it not lights out? And it's because it's not playing like a first-person shooter where those kinds of headshot attributes and whatnot take into account. It's playing like a role-playing game where you're going to approach him and shoot your shotgun. Ooh, sorry, you did minimal damage. It's like, what do you mean I did minimal damage? I'm 2 inches away from him with a shotgun. There's no such thing as minimal damage. Like, if this game has a combat system like that, where you've got a sword and you run up on someone and you're like wailing on them, but the impact, and it has the animation, the sword is swinging, you hit him, it makes that sound, that sound, and sparks are flying and all that kind of shit, and it has really good like aesthetic haptics being fed back to you that makes it feel like, oh, I'm kicking ass. I've got this sword. I'm running up on this guy. I'm beating the shit out of him. But it doesn't translate to like actual damage because of character attributes and dice rolls. That could end up having a bad feel. The reason why I think that something like that works better in Daggerfall than it does in more modern games is because, one, Daggerfall is very primitive, so I guess I say one as if there are multiple. That's really it. Daggerfall is a more primitive game, and when you have your combat system predicated on click and hold the mouse and then swipe, you click and hold the mouse and then swipe, that feels different than what we're used to with pressing X swings your sword. Press X for a light swing, press Y for a heavy swing. Doing the click and drag feels different. And especially since there is a little bit of a delay when you click and swipe, there is a little bit of a delay between when you do that and when the animation plays. It tricks your brain into thinking that, or into not expecting the immediate sort of impact and satisfaction that comes from doing something like I pressed X and then I punched a guy in the face. Like, as best as I can describe, I think that's why it works better for something like Daggerfall. I'm kind of suspicious of what combat's going to feel like now in this game. It could end up being, because Morrowind, people love Morrowind, okay? I know that I'm an outlier a little bit when it comes to Morrowind. I was greatly frustrated by the fact that the visuals and the physical input of combat never felt reciprocated to me from the game's output. Like, if I'm swinging a sword, I want to feel like I'm actually swinging a sword and hitting someone. I don't want to feel like I'm playing a tabletop game, because I'm not playing a tabletop game. I'm playing a video game. Like, if I wanted to play a tabletop game, I'd play a tabletop game. Or I would play a video game version of a tabletop game where I see a piece of paper on the screen and there's like a dice icon in the corner and I click on the dice icon and it rolls the dice. I'll play a tabletop game if I want a tabletop game. But I'm playing a game where I'm running down the street with a sword and then I swing at someone. I want to feel like I'm actually swinging a sword on someone. And if, that disconnect is there, that's why Oblivion ended up going the way that it did. Everybody bemoans Oblivion and Skyrim for making the Elder Scrolls series feel more arcadey and less role-playing-y. But the reason they did that is because combat in Morrowind felt weird. And Morrowind was still primitive-ish enough to, like, kind of get away with it. But as games were becoming more advanced, it would have just felt dated and weird for Oblivion's combat to respond that way. So that's, the long and short, I guess, of why Oblivion ended up taking the direction that it took. And again, there are a lot of people don't like that. It seems like these guys are of that mold. I'm guessing they have a reason, or they have found a way to make their version of combat work in a modern open world, I guess, action RPG adjacent play style.
It end up being a weird combination. Like, for example, a player wants to roleplay as a merchant, buy a ship, transport goods with a heavy focus on etiquette, athletics, medicine, barter, and other non-combat skills. Is that possible? Or playing as a murder hobo adventurer the only option?
Well, we do want to support a bunch of different play styles, right? right now we're still limited because again we are just still barely building out all the systems. So the major focus right now has been on the top three, the warrior, the thief, and the mage, that classic combo there. And we'll keep expanding on that and supporting more and more play styles. But we really wanted to make sure that those three feel really good, feel really solid, because those three and sort of a combination within those are primarily what players play as. So we definitely want those to feel good. We'll keep expanding and supporting those other play styles. I do want to mention that it's important to keep in mind that the game is focused on an adventure simulator. So, we know players want to play as merchants, want to be farmers, want to be a blacksmith. Those are really out of scope for what we're doing. The player will be an adventurer, and there's different ways you can be an adventurer in there, but you're really not taking on a trade. You won't
just wait until the modern community gets a hold of it,
of course, but it's not all about.
And once the modding community gets a hold of it, they'll be like, "Oh, you could be a school teacher now." Every day you just walk into a classroom and teach children their ABCs. Get the school teacher mod. Oh, there's a mod where you work in the sewers as a cleaner. This mod, you, instead of equipping a sword, you equip a mop, and you have to mop up the sewers after every day, at the end of every day. Like, the modding community will handle that for you if you just get the core basics good and you make it easy to mod the game. Even some MMOs that have location-based damage. Devin, what do you think of haptic feedback on mice? That sounds fucking awful. I've never, is that a thing? I feel like that would be very destructive. Like, mice have a lot of sensitivity involved with movement. And if that thing starts shaking on you, that sounds annoying. A trade, people really like turning games into jobs. Oh, hell yeah. Haven't you watched NoPixel Grand Theft Auto streams where people will roleplay just working at like a McDonald's and shit? Remake Stardew in it. Yo, what's up, Gilf Connoisseur? Welcome back to the stream. How you doing? Eventually, if this game is popular enough, they definitely will remake Stardew Valley in it. Yeah, but you want realism? I don't want realism. I just don't want to feel disconnected from what I'm doing. I don't want realism, but I don't want an Uncanny Valley experience. Like, I still need some level of immersion. And in some instances, that style of combat is kind of immersion breaking.
The merchant play style or trying to grow crops or anything like that. We really want to focus in on the adventure gameplay loop and make sure that it's the best that we can make.
I read in your Discord that a character's major skills can be leveled up to 100, minor skills can be taken up to 50, and auxiliary skills are capped at 25. Can you briefly explain the leveling system? When a player reaches a new level, what do they have to do?
So I guess the important thing to point out with the leveling system is that there is no player level. That just doesn't exist. It's really all about the skills, like I mentioned before. That's the major focus. You do have attributes, and depending on your race, you'll get bonuses to attributes as well. But really, it all comes down to your skills. The more you use them, the more they improve, and as they improve, your attributes will improve alongside them. So, like, say you're a swordsman, the more you attack things with your sword, the higher that skill is going to get, the more damage you'll be able to do. And then also your related attributes like strength and dexterity will be going up alongside it, and with the other skills that you're racing as well. As for the numbers themselves, those aren't final. It's very unlikely that they're final. And really the whole point of the early access is that we do want to get all that feedback from players and really figure out, like, is that a good number? Should they be higher? Should they be lower? So expect any numbers within early access to change by the final release. So just keep that in mind.
Oh, very cool. I want to talk about the questing system of the Wayward Realms. I read that they won't be a main quest, but we will have faction quest lines, city town quests, and side quests. Now for the early access build, what percentage of these quests are dynamically generated by the quest system, and will we have handcrafted quests?
Yeah, so handcrafted quests are very important. I know it kind of doesn't seem like it when we talk about like having procedural quests and no main quests and stuff, but we do want those handcrafted narratives, and those are important to us. All the 5 major factions that we have for early access, they all have handwritten storylines already. And then of course we will also do some side quests and other things like that for players to experience that will be all handcrafted. But we do, like, obviously the procedural quests are a major focus of the game as well. And that's really just the point of those is that it reacts to the player, what they've been doing in the world, how the world has been changing. So it feels more like that world is alive and that the player has done something in it. And that's why those are important. As for the percentage, it's kind of hard to really say. Technically they're infinite, an infinite amount of generated quests. However, again, it's still early, so things are being fleshed out, so it's probably a little more repetitive right now, as opposed to how it will be later on when we've been able to add more variety, more abilities for the VGM to choose from. So a little limited. It's really more a matter of like we have this set amount of handcrafted content, and then everything else is supplemental generated quests.
So I want to talk about the questing system again. So let's go back to the merchant character. Here's a character who's not interested in dealing with factions. His interests are in trading and doing menial jobs for people.
This guy is really interested about being a merchant.
He has no interest in dungeon delving. What type of quests can such a character get from the questing system?
Well, right now it's going to be very limited. Again, it's still early. We don't have as much variety as we want in the system just yet. But then again, we also aren't really supporting a merchant character gameplay loop. It's really an adventure gameplay loop. So you're going to limit yourself if you're trying to just be a merchant, because that's not the gameplay loop that we are supporting. You'll be able to do some stuff. Obviously, we do want an economy to be shifting with the world events and stuff like that, so you can buy high in some place or buy low in some place and sell high at another. But don't expect like a really satisfying merchant gameplay loop or any other kind of gameplay.
My Google feed told me that they found a tree that turned CO2 into limestone. What tree is this? Dude already answered that, wasting this man's time. Yeah, this guy's really into being a merchant, I guess, for some reason. And it's like, this is a adventurer's role-playing game. It is not a simulation game. This is not Sim Merchant.
Loop. That's not strictly the adventure gameplay loop.
Okay, that's perfectly understandable. I want to know how Wayward Realms generates dungeons. So Daggerfall dynamically generated the layout of dungeons, whereas Starfield went with the approach of spawning handmade dungeons taken from a pool of pre-created collection. Can you share some details on the team's work on dungeon creation?
Yeah, well, one thing very important for folks that don't know is that Daggerfall generated its dungeons by piecing together modular pieces.
Yeah, it was sectional. It wasn't completely
like a set number of.
Yeah, it wasn't completely dyed. It was like there was a piece here that was like the stairs that lead to a room, and the room splits out here, and that would be one Lego piece, and then the second Lego piece would be a hallway that leads to a bridge, and the bridge goes down to a cave, etc. And it would just chunk those pieces together. But it also had set dungeons like Privateer's Hold. Privateer's Hold is always the same. Like King Lysandas's mom, Nagulfka or whatever her fucking name is, her dungeon is always the same.
Like hallways and rooms and stuff, this had already been created, and then pieces together with another one that's, something along the same lines, right? Like Privateer's Hold, the opening dungeon is one single module. And so you could go into another dungeon later on that has Privateer's Hold within it, but it's connected to, say, like a cave system and a keep and something like that. So it's kind of limited and repetitive, even though they were so big. And once you knew the module, you'd come to recognize the module and be like, okay, well, there's a hidden door right there because that's in every single module of this type. And we really wanted to get away from that. So with Wayward Realms, we're using wave function collapse to create the dungeons. And wave function collapse actually something that's used for Caves of Qud world generation. Actually, I think they were the first.
I don't even know what that is.
To implement that into a video game. So, and basically, what that allows us to do is have completely unique layouts.
Sure, adventure, but what about the mercantile loop? That's going to be his next question. He's going to be like, with respects to the randomly generated dungeons, how is Wayward Realms going to randomly generate my mercantile guild for when I become a merchant and start doing trade? Like, what kind of procedurally generated shops are there going to be that my merchant can interact with when performing trade routes?
For the dungeons. It's just generating the rooms and the hallways as it goes. And really the variety there's going to come from the types of dungeon pieces that we have, whether that be like the walls, the doorways, the pillars, floors, roofs, all these different pieces that we build that it has to work with. And on top of that, there'll be themes. So there's the orcish style, the human style, dwarven style, ancient ruins, graveyards, castles, all that kind of thing. That's going to determine the look of it and really add a lot more variety to the dungeons themselves. It should give us a lot of unique looks and unique layouts, and hopefully not feel as repetitive as Dagger Falls were.
What is the core gameplay loop that players can experience with the early access build?
Yeah, so kind of like what I mentioned before, the core gameplay loop is the adventure gameplay loop.
Some fig trees make calcium oxalate, which bacteria then turn into calcium carbonate, i.e. limestone. Okay, I didn't know that.
Complete the quest, come back.
What if I want to roleplay as a sex worker?
Right. Obviously, Daggerfall was definitely a dungeon delver. You're always going to a dungeon or to somebody's house. And we aim to have a bit more variety, but again, here at the beginning, it'll mostly be, go to a dungeon to achieve X, or go to a house and whatever. And we'll of course keep adding more variety. Like obviously the super simple things are go kill somebody or go retrieve this item, and again, those will be here at the beginning, but we hope to keep expanding on that and making it more varied and more interesting. But again, if you want to break it down, you get a quest from an NPC, you go to the location where you need to complete it, get whatever it is done, whether kill a person.
Very basic describing of how a quest works.
Or whatever. And then you come back to the quest giver, you get your rewards, you go to your merchant, you sell your loot.
Don't mention merchant to this guy. We're going to go on a tangent now.
And then you're ready to go do it again.
Okay, finally, everyone wants to know this. When can players expect the early access build?
Well, we still don't have a set date for it yet. Obviously, we're working really hard. We're pretty sure we can get it by the end of this year, which has been the goal. There's always a potential that we can fall behind. It's video game development, so delays are nothing new. I think we've all seen them before. But really, we want to just make sure that we have something fun, something solid, something players can enjoy, which we think we can by the end of the year. But if it's not quite there, we don't mind pushing back a little bit just to make sure it is a good experience. Because even though, yes, it's early access and we do expect a lot of things to not be, fully implemented, and we really want people's feedback in order to make sure that we are making this the best game that we can. We still do want to give our backers something that's really fun and really enjoyable, and something that sort of fills that promise that we've given, right? That Daggerfall spiritual successor. So if it's not quite Daggerfall yet, then we might push back a bit. But so far, looking like the end of this year is doable.
End of this year.
Thank you, Victor, for taking time to do this. All right, guys, that was a discussion with the Once Lost Games team, and what questions do you have for the team? Do write in the.
All right, that was the important information. End of the year is what they're the end of the year is coming up quick. I went to an Indian restaurant near that I always go to, kind of near Justin's neighborhood actually, and the store right next to it already has the Spirit Halloween shit up. So we're coming up on the back half of this year. This year went by in a hurry, guys. This year has gone by in a hurry. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it, kind of. But then also at the same time, it does kind of feel like it. I'm gonna have to start thinking about. Well, I got to start thinking about two things, honestly. I got to start thinking about what I'm gonna do for Halloween, both in terms of my costume, of course, but also in terms of what I'm gonna do on the stream. Or as for content in general. Am I going to do another 30 days, 30 movies review on TikTok? Am I going to do something new, something different? TBD, but I have to start thinking about that now. And then I got to start thinking about my end of year wrap up. This year's a brutal one because the first few months was dealing with unemployment. I missed most of my 2025 New Year resolution goals. This has been a tough one. I don't know what that's going to end up looking like, but hey, I guess I still have some time to reach some of those goals. Wait, what were those goals? Let me see if I can pull that out. I can't even remember. Was this what I was using? This is what I was using. Wait, where's my shit then? Here it is. '25 New Year's resolution. Created December 29, 2024. Do 5 collabs with other streamers. Nope. Not even a 1. Do 3 cooking streams. Nope. Not even a 1. Do a streamathon. Nope. Do 5 IRL streams. Nope. Not even a 1. Travel to 3 new places. That was completely blown out of the water from losing my job. Join a boxing gym. No, but maybe soon. There's one near my work. I just have to actually create a schedule to go there after work, which is always hard because I'm always so fucking exhausted after work. Get down to 300 pounds, maintain it for 3 months? Nope. This kind of ties in with this, though. Self-publish issue 1 of the comic? I mean, I have it. It was contingent upon figuring out if I was gonna. Well, first we talked about whether we wanted to colorize it or not. And it looks great in color, but that's also very costly, and I didn't have the money before I lost my job. Certainly didn't have the money after. I would like to colorize it, but we also started talking about, do we want to find a publisher or self-publish it? If we self-publish, are we gonna print it out, sell it traditionally, or are we gonna do webtoons? So there was a lot of that stuff that I've been kicking around in my head, and I think I've settled on not doing webtoons. I think I've settled on printing it out. But then there's a lot of other additional stuff I need to do, like cleaning up the scan. I have to clean up the scans, which if I paid to have it colorized, then that cleans it up for me. But again, I'd have to pay for that, and I can't afford it. So I'm kind of in a bind on what to do on that one right there. And then, of course, joint resolution, finish issues 2 and 3 with Royal. I think she started working on issue 2, but I don't know. I mean, we've kind of fallen out of sync on the comic, so maybe I should just try getting that back on track to begin with. You collabed with Lulu? She's not a streamer yet. I mean, she did a stream, but it was kind of busted. I guess I could count that as one, because her setup was a little rough. It was really just me doing tech support for most of the time. But Yeah, I guess I did do that one with her, that RuneScape one. Toaster doesn't stream either. I've done a couple with him. If he would stream, then I could mark 2 off my list. I could mark 2. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could count the Lulu stream as one. What a busted resolution list. I think I actually did a decent number of my 2024. Maybe not all of them, but I accomplished. Yeah, I did some. I lost 20 pounds on my birthday. I got my A1C down. Hit my followers goals. I did an IRL stream in Japan, no less, and on a train. Well, no, I didn't do an IRL stream on a train. I rode the train and I filmed some of that and put that in my video, but I didn't do an IRL stream on the train. And I did 4 collab streams. Did I? I must have. I guess I must have. I marked it off, but I can't remember. I can't remember with who. 2024 feels like 2024 feels like like it was like decades ago at this point. That was decades ago by modern time passing standards, I guess. All right, that's gonna be it for me tonight. Thank you everybody for joining me and hanging out. I appreciate it as always. I will be back on Tuesday without these dogs. I'm not gonna have my dogs around. Rue, you want to say goodbye? We're about to go outside. You want to go outside, don't you? You want to go outside, don't you? Yeah, I'm looking at you. You want to go outside? You want to get a treat? We'll get a treat. We'll go outside. Oh, look at oh, you found the energy. You found the energy. As soon as I said the word treat, all of a sudden you weren't so sleepy anymore. You want a treat? I'll get you a treat, okay? You've been a good girl all week. I want to say I was so happy to have you in my house all week. I was so happy to have you in my house. You've been a great, great house guest. Mwah. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you. Let me tell you something about this little baby dog. I drove all the way to San Antonio to get her when she was a real small puppy. When we got her, she could fit in my hand. She was that small. She could fit in the palm of my hand. She was a tiny little girl. And she was obsessed with me right from the very beginning. Obsessed with me right from the very beginning. All right. Night all. Have a good one. Have a good one all. Good stream. Good job. Thank you. I appreciate it as always. I'll be back on Tuesday. I hope to see you all again then. But if not, I'll see you when I see you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully you have a day off on Monday. If not, well, I hope you enjoy Labor Day to the best of your abilities anyways. Take it easy, y'all.